knew what it was. I was just like, oh, Evolution. Are they trying to like make money off of the group that used to be? Since like Triple H is all big
Yeah.
and mighty nowadays. So that was the first thing that came to my mind, was that it was going to be something just like another rebranded pay per view. And then I read into it, and it was an all women's event, and I I want to be excited for it, but I don't think that it will be like, I remember the one that TNA did, and I really liked all of those matches. Like, it was the first time that you saw women doing sort of more of the extreme style of wrestling, and it was great. And like WWE has like been trying to do that, and like it's been successful, but I've noticed, at least from live crowds and just things in general, that at least the mainstream WWE people, they still just don't care about women's wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it will be as big of a hit as they're hoping for. But I mean, as a female and as someone who, this is something where I wish that this would have been around during the days of like China and like Trish Stratus and like Lita and like all of the like people that paved the way for how we are now. Like, I would have liked to seen this in like the 90s.
Right.
Yeah, but those are the days where women were treated very badly in wrestling.
Yeah.
So it was almost impossible then to ever get legitimacy.
I would think that it's getting more popular, because all I ever see, well, it's probably because of John Garabedian. I follow John Garabedian on Facebook, and all he loves is women's wrestling. So that's like all the wrestling I ever see is women's wrestling. So I thought, wow, women's wrestling must be hugely popular now.
Also, Glow, the TV show Glow.
Yes.
Have you watched it?
Yep.
I think that will push people into watching some.
And see, that's a good show, but I still prefer, it's a good show, but the documentary on Glow is still amazing. If you ever see that documentary on Glow. And Miss Amaris came in that chat and said, "Hi, guys."
Chief.
Yeah, he does. Miss Amaris came into the chat. She said, "Hi, guys, driving, so can't really talk. Congrats on the big 200. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much."
She's been on the show. Miss Amaris has been on the show. Another guest.
She's co-hosted the show a couple of times.
Yes.
Yeah, I watched Glow Wrestling when I was a kid, when it was on, because it was on. I remember it was on late at night. I think they'd show it like on the weekends during the afternoon, like on this local channel. But I remember my dad would come home from work late at night, and I would get up, and he would put on Glow, and I would watch Glow with my dad.
That's so sweet.
But like he hated all wrestling, but he loved Glow Wrestling, and I assume it's because it was a bunch of women wrestling. That's why he liked it. I don't know why he actually liked it, but he thought it was funny and he loved it. So I would get up every night when he would come home and we'd watch Glow Wrestling.
But it's the next step, isn't it? Because they did the Hell in the Cell, and they've done lots of cage fighting stuff, and it's about time having a whole pay-per-view. They've got enough wrestlers now who are good enough to put off at least kind of 6 to 8 good matches.
6 to 8 good matches, yeah.
I kind of hope that it's not focused around the better of the women's division. Then I don't want to see like 2 hours of Carmella.
Oh, but Mella is money. What are you talking about? The way I
don't even know who's the best female wrestler.
If it's more like how
Oscar is the best. Oscar is the best.
If it's how like NXT does their pay-per-views, and if it's how like an NXT, then I think that it will be amazing.
Well, what we know is that the finals of the Mae Young tournament, the second annual Mae Young tournament, is going to take place at this event. So
I'm excited for that because Caitlyn's coming back.
I'm excited because Caitlyn's coming back. But now, also in that aspect, they have so many good prospects that'll be in. Like Deonna Purrazzo is going to be in there. A lot of people like not Missy Martinez.
Missy Martinez.
Not Missy Martinez. What's her face? Let me pull this up real quick.
Fabulous
Mercedes Martinez, who went to like the semifinals last year. Who's big in Shimmer and all that. She'll be in there. I would love, and then I think there's going to be like the tournament for the WWE UK women's title, because they're now doing their whole UK division, and Toni Storm's going to be wrestling in that, and I hope she gets the belt because I love Toni Storm.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping like the main events are like a Charlotte and Asuka, those caliber.
Do you not think that Ronda Rousey is pretty amazing?
I think she still has a ways to go, but from what she's been doing, Ronda Rousey has been very, very good.
Her technical ability is astounding.
Yeah. I mean, she impressed at WrestleMania.
It probably lends itself very well to learning wrestling, the MMA stuff and grappling and stuff.
Although
and she's terrifying.
although
she's the one I would be scared of more than anybody.
Ronda Rousey is terrifying, but when she comes out in that little like the little like Roddy Piper schoolgirl skirt, I'm just looking at it like, no, and like it's kind of like her skirt is too small, but the jacket is too big.
She'll put you on the ground, though, man.
It's true that, but when she's ready, she smiles like just like a happy little kid, and then she gets in the ring and she looks fucking menacing.
It's kind of like how Nia Jax used to be. You know, Nia Jax used to like smile all the time, and now she's just kind of like a beast machine. But I'm hoping, like on Raw, when they had the women on the stage, they did a whole thing. All the women wrestlers were on the stage, and Nikki Cross was actually on the stage in the front with everybody. And that's one of the ones I'm kind of hoping gets a big push because I love Nikki Cross in NXT, and I think her not coming up with Sanity when Sanity went to SmackDown was it was bad because she made Sanity with her craziness. I understand they kept her down there because, you know, they had to kind of rebuild the women's division in NXT after they called everybody up in one fell swoop.
Well, they've got the talent in that division, and they've got the names and everything. It's going to fall on how they market it, whether it succeeds or not.
Yeah,
it's going to be the marketing.
It really is all about marketing and what they do with the show. The Women's Royal Rumble was great, but
it was a lot of nostalgia act in that.
Yeah,
though.
it was a lot of nostalgia. So if they try to reenact that a little bit by bringing in people that don't necessarily need to be brought in, just for the sake of this is the first time, so we have to like make it this big production. Then, but if they just make it small, focus on the talent and the wrestling, then I think that it will be pretty great.
Stacker plays game saying Ronda is the only female in the division that I like, and he says he really liked AJ Lee when she was around. I agree.
I really like AJ. I understand like her reasoning for not being in the company, but I wish that she was still wrestling to some capacity.
Now it has been rumored, it has been teased because they have teased it on Twitter. Mickie James wants a match with Trish Stratus at this event.
Trish Stratus is still wrestling?
Trish Stratus can still go. Well, she's not a full-time wrestler, but when she's called upon, she can still go.
She does that as a yoga, so she's still quite fit.
And she's had like 3 kids, so kudos. But yeah, Mickie James wants one more match.
Nostalgia. That's also nostalgia, though. That's like in the past. You should leave it alone.
But they did tease that little bit at the Women's Royal Rumble of Mickie James and Trish Stratus. So to actually get a match would be good. I would also like to see, honestly, I would like to see Nia Jax versus Beth Phoenix in a full match.
That would be a heavy match.
Stratus been in there for like 20 years now? Is that how many years?
Well, she hasn't been a full-time wrestler since like the mid-2000s.
Well, I'm just thinking because when I was still in school, when I was like 28, I went back to school and I did a multimedia course, and we had to make this like mock-up calendar of different things. And they gave me a swimsuit calendar that was assigned to me. I had to do it. So I had to find swimsuit pictures. And Stratus was one of the pictures on the calendar. I'm 43 now. This is when I was 28. And she was wrestling then. So
now there's a study. There's a course.
Yeah. Now with wrestling,
I wanted something else because that was the one I didn't want because I didn't want to be accused of sexism or anything weird. I was like, I don't want this. Give me dogs or cats or anything. And they give me the swimsuit calendar. And I thought, oh,
now a couple more things with wrestling before we switch into comics, because that'll be that's a lot of our fortes. With wrestling, I want to first of all, what are you all thinking with like the male product of WWE, Cool Bear Panda? Because right now, to me, unless it's like an AJ match or something like that, it seems like a lot of times the matches are not as good as they should be, or it's always Roman Reigns over whoever. But it seems like but AJ Styles matches, like anything AJ Styles does, it seems it's just golden.
That's because AJ rocks. AJ's been the best for. I used to see adverts of AJ on Bravo television when I was a kid, and I was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" So I watched TNA just to watch AJ.
Here, little fact: the first time I ever saw AJ Styles, his name was Air Styles. He was part of a tag team called Air Raid in the dying days of WCW.
Wow.
I remember that.
He was, it was him and like another guy called Air Paris, and they would come out. It was kind of like a Top Gun thing. They came out with like Air Force jumpsuits on because they would do all the high flying. But I agree. He's been the best forever. Him and of course, you know what? I need a Colbert and Panda. I forgot. I have to wish you a happy Rusev Day.
Oh, no.
Happy Rusev Day.
I hate Rusev. I still hate Rusev.
How can you?
I've just never gotten into him. It's one of those wrestlers I don't have an opinion of him one way or another.
How has he got over? How?
Rusev Day. And 8 in English. And
Absolutely
8 in
ridiculous.
English.
It's the
But
marketing.
It is marketing. They put out a calendar that sold out in like 15 minutes, and every day was Rusev Day.
So I'm glad that AJ's at the top because he's always puts out amazing performances. The Brock thing is just pretty boring, and I think people are getting bored of Brock because it's the same thing again and again and again.
That guy looks like a
Shinsuke,
human pit bull. His neck muscles are so.
The only thing good about
Shinsuke always gives you a good match.
he does, and I'm glad they need to do more. Like they let him win. He won the U.S. title in kind of a crappy fashion because of the Randy Orton coming in and interfering with Jeff Hardy, but he needs better matches than what he's getting.
yes.
Shinsuke does.
General Gaming says Rusev's amazing, but he's always fed to the worst talent.
It's true.
I kind of feel like, as someone that lives like right down the street from the Barclays Center where they hold SummerSlam for the last like 5 years, I have been trying to decide because this year they're having SummerSlam and the NXT takeover, but then they're also doing Raw and SmackDown there too. And I want to go to either Raw or SmackDown, and I'm trying to decide which one I want to do. Usually I always go Raw, but lately like the SmackDown isn't as good of a show necessarily, but the wrestlers that I tend to like more and entertain me more are on that show. Like,
How far in advance will you know who's going to be there at each one, though?
well,
Would that help make your decision?
it's pretty much just, I mean, they're not doing like any sort of like roster change, so I could be taking a chance. Like when I was, for my 21st birthday, I was determined to see Jeff Hardy, and then he like was out on that because of the pay-per-view the day before. But like, I'm glad that Daniel Bryan is back.
Yay!
Entertaining to watch to me. I am like worried always that he's going to hurt himself or get hurt.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was very nostalgic whenever he came back, so I'm excited for him. I'm glad that I really like what they're doing with Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy right now. Like that whole thing
Yeah.
It's weird.
gains me, especially whenever they bring in like Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas like as their Bo Dallas's like Bray Wyatt impression is just
Yeah. Which of course
magic.
Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas did win the tag belts from them. And Miss Amaris says, "Ooh, I do miss the Hardy Boys. Really wish the Pops had been old school Hardys versus Broken Matt and New Jeff." I like Broken Matt. I wish they would let him do a little bit more in the WWE, and that they should have made Jeff go obsolete instead of being more the charismatic enigma that he's always been. If he could have gone more, the obsolete Jeff Hardy, that would have been great. The pop at WrestleMania was amazing when they came back at WrestleMania. Because that was just, especially since they were just at Ring of Honor the night before.
Yeah,
at
and like
WrestleMania.
somehow that didn't get spoiled for me, and I watched WrestleMania like a week later, and like as soon as I saw it, I'm like, Colbert, you have to watch this now.
Yeah, because last time you were on, Colbert, was around WrestleMania time, and you hadn't watched it yet. But with the product now, the one thing I do got to say is I've been kind of watching a lot of Impact Wrestling, but mostly the women over there on Impact, because somehow Rosemary is like my muse. If anybody watches, if you've seen Impact and seen
It's got
Rosemary,
many muses, man.
Does Impact
I do-
still
mini music.
exist? I think I stopped.
it does,
I
and the
watch
product's been
Impact.
getting really good.
I watch Impact for Austin Aries. I still wish that somehow he would come back to WWE because I was really excited during that time, that
Aw.
short time that he was there, 'cause I loved him.
He's awesome.
But I feel like Impact used to be like the main one for me back whenever like Styles and like all of those guys who are now pretty much in WWE were on Impact. But now I'm really liking New Japan. Like Kenny Omega is like
Kenny Omega's
Amazing.
always been amazing.
He's amazing.
yeah,
The
and
Bullet
the
Club,
the stuff that him and Jericho have done has been really great.
the
Just-
stuff him and Cody Rhodes have been doing.
yeah, him and Cody Rhodes.
Miss Amaris says, Hardy's music still makes me feel like I'm fucking 15 all over again.
Same.
Yep. That's how I felt when Tori Wilson came out on Raw 25, and I was just like, wait a minute, she hasn't like aged.